Team tonight began with the two Shrine Bowl selections. Steve Betzel hitting his favorite receiver, Kelvin Richardson. Burns had a 7-0 lead on a worried Buddy Jennings. He saw his offense limited early by a very stout, hard-hitting Burns defense. However, the Raiders hung tough as well, tied the game at halftime, and when Steve Ramsey hit Ronnie Shaw, Lawrence had a 14-7 lead. Now Bo Korn was worried. He sent Betzel on the field, and the general did his job, leading Burns right down the field. A mixture of passing and running, Betzel finding Scott Simmons to tie the game at 14-all. Then in the final quarter of play, the Lawrence running game tore huge holes through the Burns defense. Leroy Hunter and Jimmy Harris doing the damage. Harris's touchdown run gave Lawrence a 21-14 lead. Then the big play of the game. Burns still had a chance. Watch number 24 on the left. The ball was snapped, hit him in the shoulder. Lawrence recovered, and from there it was Jimmy Harris, a fine run, which gave Lawrence an insurmountable lead, and Buddy Jennings knew that his ball club had won it and a spot in the upper state championship game.
We didn't expect it, Paul. I've told you that all along, and you know, this group of kids, you can't say enough about them. They never quit, and I thought tonight we played one of our better ball games. We had to play our best ball game to beat Burns. There's no doubt about that.
Lawrence wins it 28-20, and now it's on to the upper state next week at Airport. Paul Jackson, Sky 7 Sports.
And
the homestanding Rebels struck first tonight. Steve Betzel to the air here. He'll find Kelvin Richardson in the end zone for a 33-yard touchdown pass. Burns took a 7-0 lead. Second quarter, Lawrence comes back to tie it. This Steve Ramey to John Cunningham pass picked up 34, and the Raiders were on the Rebels 7. Then 3 plays later, Leroy Hunter got Lawrence on the board. It was 7-all at halftime. Third quarter, Lawrence would take the lead. Ramey goes to Ronnie Shaw here. Watch him make the great catch and dive into the end zone. 14-7 Raiders. But back came the Rebels. Steve Betzel to Scott Simmons. And it was 14-all as they went to the fourth quarter. Lawrence then went on a time-consuming drive to take the lead for good. Jimmy Harris scores off the pitch to make it 21-14. Both teams tallied once more, but the defending 4A Division II champs take a 28-20 win over Burns. From Duncan, Rick Pond, Sports Center 4.
in 3A that the Raiders hope to make it 2 in a row with a win this Saturday.
The Raiders flew into Airport last week and grounded the Eagles 28-7 to win the Upstate Championship. Led by a quarterback who played on the defensive side of the ball last year, the Raiders' offense has shown surprising success this year. Steve Ramey replaced the graduated Ricky Foggy, now a starter at the University of Minnesota, and he's led the team to within 1 game of a second straight state title.
I think just to come as far as we did, losing the people that we lost, you know, Rick and Lonnie, we've done real good this year to come together as a team and play as a team. So I thought we're going to win it.
In replacing All-State tailback Lonnie Pulley, who graduated, Jimmy Harris and Leroy Hunter have combined for over 2,000 yards. But the reality of being so close to another championship is still surprising.
I don't think anybody, you know, I'd be a fool to sit here and say, yeah, I expected to be here unless I had the greatest athletes in South Carolina. No, I don't think, if you ask our team, poll them, I don't think they would say that we expected to be here. I thought we'd be in the playoffs, and once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And I told our players once we got to that point, all we needed was 3 good weeks, and we could be in the state finals again. But it's very hard to get 3 good weeks, and we also had, I thought, the toughest draw of any of the 4A schools in our division.
Lawrence has beaten Burns, Boiling Springs, and Airport in the playoffs thus far. This week, Hartsville looms as the Raiders' final obstacle to the 4A Division II state championship. Roger Berry.
The North Hendersonville over East Henderson, 20-6 tonight. And in the battle in the state of South Carolina tonight, it was Lawrence coming on top of the Red Devils, 10-6. Lawrence pass play goes to number 82, John Cunningham. Look at, he runs right in. If he doesn't catch it, it goes right into our cameras, folks. There's no question about it. Clinton comes back a little bit later on. Quarterback Keith Meredith, a screen pass to Ricky Vance down to the 1-yard line. Meredith scores on a keeper, and that is Clinton's score. But good Lawrence defense shuts the door and shuts out the rest of the Clinton offense, and Lawrence records a 10-6 win over Clinton coming up tonight. We move on to playoffs. Now we go to some 4A Big 6 or Little 32 action, and it is Lawrence, the defending champion, going against Boiling Springs. And this is why it's playoff, folks. Everything is tough and tight. Patrick Rogers from Boiling Springs goes over early, and that puts the underdog Bulldogs out in front 7-0. But in the second half, Buddy Jennings' club got on track. Steve Ramey goes to number 82. John Cunningham, he is all alone out there, all by himself in the corner of the end zone. And Boiling Springs, which was leading 9 0 at halftime, also finds themselves a little bit behind. In the fourth quarter, Leroy Hunter gallops over.
Won in 1984, were state champions in 1983. And that includes the Lawrence Raiders, who became the first school to ever successfully defend a 4A Division II championship. No other schools won it 2 years in a row. Buddy Jennings and the Raiders did it tonight. Early turnover helped Lawrence against Hartsville. As Hartsville fumbled a punt right here, Lawrence came up with it near midfield to take advantage. Quarterback Steve Rainey hitting number 83, Fred Foggy, who was out of bounds at the 3-yard line. That put the Raiders in great scoring position. And from there, you knew it was going to Jimmy Harris, and he just bulled his way in for the score to put Lawrence in front 7-0. Still in the first half, Jimmy Harris scored again. Look at him bounce outside and go into the corner to give Lawrence a 14-0 halftime edge. The defense really took over in the second half. Watch this. Number 32, Ricky Reeder, sacking the Hartsville quarterback for a big, big loss. And then Buddy Jennings turns on the offense. Jimmy Harris, who had a great night, around 130 yards on the evening. A nice run here, getting down to the 3-yard line. And when it's not Mr. Harris, well, it's number 24, Leroy Hunter, who goes up and over for the score. Hunter would later do it again, this time on a little bit longer run, a 35-yard scamper. That does it, as Lawrence goes on to take a 34-0 win and claim their second straight Division II 4A title. The key for Buddy Jennings, the offensive line, which controlled the line of scrimmage.
Played great, Stan. Sure did. You know, guys don't get a lot of credit up there, but tonight I thought, and especially in the second half, you could see from the sideline, about the only thing you can see down here is when you get a big surge. And we were getting surges about all the second half. You know, that's when you knock people off the ball 3 or 4 yards and you're getting 5 or 6 yards. So I really thought we took command of the up front there, and that made the difference.
So the Lawrence surge proves deftly for Hartsville. 34-0 Lawrence a winner tonight. Now this afternoon...